Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru, and welcome to episode 27 of Re-Unboxing. For those of you who haven't been watching this series, this is a series where I am unboxing all of my video game stuff so I can set up my new game room that you can see here behind me after a big move. So this way I can document it all for insurance and also show you guys the entirety of my collection up to this point, so that all my pickups videos, once I'm done with this series, from this point forward, will be all new stuff and will just be additions to the collection. So today, we're going to go through tub number 3 of controllers and accessories. So here we have a 4-player Sega Genesis adapter, multi-tap. And this is pretty cool because whoever owned this before had this little color coding going on, and one assumes had little color strips on each of their controllers to denote which was which for the use of the multi-tap. So kind of a cool deal. Picked that up at a Goodwill for all of $1. It was a great buy. Here we've got one of these fun translucent blue Dreamcast controllers, complete with VMU and off-brand Naki Rumble Pack, and an extension cord, as you can see there, so I can sit a little further away from the TV. Here we've got the Saturn 3D control pad, one of my favorite controllers. Just love the way this thing feels in your hand, and I like the analog controller on this. I'm not sure why. It's a little goofy, but I just kind of like it. Here I've got a plastic bag with a couple of Wavebirds. Got the receivers are actually in the GameCube and they moved that way, but there's a couple of Wavebirds. Let's see, here's a bag with a couple of Xbox controllers. We've got this translucent blue original Xbox controller, and then my black Xbox 360 pad that I need to pull out. Here is my Wii Pro controller pad, and of course that latches onto a Wiimote. I use this a lot to play the original Xenoblade Chronicles. Here's an original Sony branded PlayStation 1 pad. Probably one of the ones I got when I first got my console. Here's my SuperPad 64 that I picked up last year. And nice tight analog stick on that. Need to break out some N64 games this year and give that one a whirl. Here are a couple more GameCube controllers. I've got the silver controller that came with my silver GameCube. I've got this little roll-up extension cord. And then there's this other controller here. This black one came with the other GameCube I bought, and as you can see, the two analog sticks have the caps broken off, so I need to buy some replacement stick caps. I know that the aftermarket ones are not nearly as good as Nintendo's OEM caps, but those you can't really buy. Here is a bag with some PlayStation related stuff. I've got a translucent blue, notice the theme running through a lot of these, wired PS2 controller. Here's a standard black PS3 pad, the DualShock 3 6-axis pad. And then this last one is this pearl pink 6-axis DualShock 3 pad that Zagnor took me up with last year. And one of these days I want to play something really, really hardcore on the PS3, but play it with this pad, just because. Here we have a Pelican PlayStation controller. I think this is a PS1 stick, but it works with PlayStation 2. But it's a decent little joystick. Buttons are okay. You know, the stick has okay action on it. It's not fantastic. It's not very clicky, but it does have a nice spring setup in there, so it centers itself again real well. And you can tell when you mess with it, it's defined. The 8 positions are pretty well defined. So anyway, decent fighting stick. I've got a couple of joysticks now for PlayStation that work with PlayStation and PlayStation 2. So I might have to see about inviting some people over to do some Tekken or some Darkstalkers. And finally, excuse me, I have my Sega Saturn arcade stick, which I think this is the official Sega. Yeah, this is the official Sega stick. Of course, it has turbo functionality on all these switches up here, and all the buttons are on the face, including the L and R, what it would have been the shoulder buttons. And this is an okay stick too. The 8 positions are not quite as well defined as those on the previous stick that I showed, but you can kind of feel as you move the stick around the slight sort of clicking when you hit each position. So it's a little loosey-goosey. So I'm not a huge fan of this stick, but it was definitely the major option that was available when I first picked up my Saturn. I want to say I picked this stick up within the first probably 6 months or so of getting the Saturn, and by the time I was collecting for it for a year or a year and a half, I already had Virtua Fighter 2, X-Men Children of the Atom, I should say, and at least 3 or 4 shoot-'em-ups. So this stick has definitely seen some use over the years. And that is all that I have for you in this edition of Re-Unboxing. What do you guys think? Are any of your favorite controllers among the batch here? Does anybody else like the Saturn 3D control pad as much as I do? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at GameBoyGuru. I'll have a link in the description below to my blog where you can check out my Game Boy game reviews. That is GameBoyGuru.blogspot.com. Also make sure you check out Nira and his channel. He provided the Super Mario Land overworld music that I use as the intro for all my videos, and he has a bunch of other great chiptune and game music covers on his channel as well, so make sure you go check that out. As always, thank you for watching, thanks for playing, and game on.